Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel, where we laugh together until our stomachs hurt. Today, I'm going to share a story about a vacation that went completely wrong. Grab some tissues, because you might cry, but not from sadness. This time, it's from laughing so hard you'll roll on the floor. Everyone has high hopes when planning a vacation. Imagine this: beautiful views, a gentle breeze, and maybe a fresh coconut in hand. But what if all that turns into a complete mess? Let me tell you about my friend Joe's holiday experience. Joe is the type of guy who wants everything to be perfect. He had been planning his trip to Florida for months, even making a spreadsheet with a schedule for every minute. But destiny had other plans. The chaos started right from the beginning. His early morning flight got delayed because of a snowstorm in New York. Imagine trying to get to a tropical paradise, but getting stuck in snow first. After waiting over 8 hours at the airport, Joe finally managed to board the flight. But the troubles didn't stop there. Upon arriving in Florida, Joe's suitcase got mixed up with an elderly woman's. Hilariously, the suitcase was filled with knitting supplies and colorful shawls. Joe, usually a laid-back guy, suddenly turned into an accidental fashionista. He spent his first day in Florida hunting for his real suitcase, trekking through various hotels in a style that made everyone stop and stare. On the second day, Joe planned to relax on the beach. He was ready with his new swimsuit, but when he got to the beach, he realized he forgot his sunscreen. Just for a bit, he thought. So, he sunbathed anyway. But what happened? Joe fell asleep under the sun for 3 hours. When he woke up, he looked like a boiled lobster. Other tourists even asked, "Hey, are you okay? Need an ambulance?" Instead of enjoying the beach, Joe ended up in his hotel room covered in ice packs. That night, seeking some entertainment, Joe decided to dine at a famous seafood restaurant. Starving, he ordered the chef's special without a second thought. But soon after eating, Joe's stomach started to rebel. Turned out, he was allergic to one of the ingredients. A beautiful evening in a fancy restaurant turned into a nightmare in the public restroom. The next morning, Joe thought a quiet activity would be safe. Fishing. This should be fine, he thought. But when he cast his line, it got caught on the hat of an old fisherman sleeping in the boat next to his. Imagine the old man's shock when he woke up shouting, "Who's disturbing my nap?" Joe panicked, trying to free the hook, but ended up knocking the hat into the water. In the end, Joe had to buy a new hat, which, believe it or not, cost more than the fish he caught. On the fourth day, Joe thought, "Okay, today will be smooth. I'll just explore the city on a bike." He rented a bike and started his tour. But, of course, it wasn't that simple. Halfway through, the bike's tire went flat. Joe didn't know how to fix it, so he had to push the bike for 3 kilometers back to the rental shop. When he got there, the owner said, "Wow, you're the 5th person today with this bike. It must be cursed." Joe could only smile bitterly, thinking, "Why always me?" On the 5th day, Joe decided to stay positive. He chose to join a famous mangrove forest tour. The guide assured, "Don't worry, it's safe and fun." But halfway through, Joe's kayak tipped over. Joe found himself stuck in the mud, desperately trying to save his camera. By the time he got back into the kayak, he was covered in mud from head to toe. A tour meant to be enjoyable turned Joe into a swamp monster. Finally, on the last day, Joe resolved to do nothing but rest at the hotel. "I just want peace," he said. But what happened? The hotel's fire alarm suddenly went off. All guests had to evacuate. Standing on the sidewalk in his cute unicorn pajamas, Joe waited with hundreds of other guests. It turned out the alarm was triggered because another guest got too excited cooking popcorn in the microwave. When Joe finally went home, he thought, nothing could be worse than this. But wait a minute, at check-in, Joe's ticket was double booked. He had to wait for the next flight for another 6 hours. Joe sighed deeply and managed a bitter smile. On the plane, he met a man who shared his own disastrous vacation story, and they laughed together the whole flight. That's the story of Joe trying to enjoy a perfect vacation that turned into a total mess. Sometimes, in life, unexpected things are unavoidable. But the most important thing is that we can laugh and learn from every situation. So, if you have funny stories or hilarious experiences, don't hesitate to share them in the comments. I, Professor Crazy, will always be here to listen and laugh with you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you enjoyed it. See you in the next funny story, and remember, laugh before laughter is banned.